Alright guys, listen up.
Hello, I like money.
Microtransactions, are they good or bad? Well, that's a pretty blunt question to ask. I feel as if it's commonplace nowadays to outright despise microtransactions altogether and attack certain companies that push this business practice. Or, you know, just flat out assault the Crash Bandicoot Twitter page where they can't control any of that.
Why are we still here?
No joke though, I actually feel sorry for whoever runs this page. They're getting blamed for ruining the game. Microtransactions have been a thing for a while now. I don't know when the first piece of post-launch paid content happened, but funnily enough, along with this rusty steelbook of the limited collector's edition of Halo 2 that I've had since 2004, I actually have this multiplayer map pack as well, that you can chuck into your Xbox and download some extra content for Halo 2. This was released months after the initial release, and I don't know if this was the first piece of post-launch paid content, but you get it. Microtransactions have been here for a while, and they're probably here to stay. The thing is though, they aren't always bad. Never necessarily great from a consumer standpoint, though from a business standpoint, sometimes it's hard to complain. But that's just my standpoint. If you have another view on this, let me know in the comments, I'd like to discuss. When I talk microtransactions as well, paid DLC is something that I usually don't care about. I would much prefer to have post-launch content completely free though, but stuff like extra maps in Call of Duty Zombies, the combat pack in Mortal Kombat, or the bonus characters in Tekken 7, you know, I don't mind them. I do mind them if they're overly priced, and sometimes they can be. What I do have a problem with though, is microtransactions that help you skip the grind for things that are already unlockable without payment. And I usually don't get mad at this stuff, but Mortal Kombat 11 is one of the worst offenders for this. Mortal Kombat 11 is my second favorite Mortal Kombat. None other will beat number 9. Just saying. And like I said, I'm fine with the combat pack and the extra characters, but the customization is a huge problem within this game. Time crystals are earned from leveling up and doing specific towers in the Towers of Time, but you get such a little amount. You can then choose to buy them in the store for real money. These time crystals are used in a daily rotating store to buy skins and gear for your characters and other little knickknacks, so you don't have to waste your life away grinding the crypt and grinding towers. And it wouldn't be terrible if you didn't have to spend a great amount of time playing the game. Yeah, believe it or not, I don't have the time to play Mortal Kombat all day, nor can I stomach it. I know there have been various patches since launch, but here's the thing. I spent 100 Australian dollars pre-ordering this game, plus another 50 for the combat pack. So how can I customize my favorite characters? Well, whip out the credit card and there you go. This game was clearly designed with microtransactions in mind. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. I spent $150, and if they honestly expect me to pay more, I don't know what to say. I've paid the price for the game, plus extra, and due to me not being able to and not wanting to play it all day, I can't receive the content that I want. Well, that's a big middle finger to NetherRealm Studios and or Warner Bros. Interactive. It's weird seeing that logo next to the Mortal Kombat IP. It just reminds me of Harry Potter.
I got this from a man in the Hogshead pub. It's a dragon egg.
Then there's Crash Team Racing. Unlike MK11, I don't get frustrated about these microtransactions, just the way they were implemented. After all the positive reviews, after a load of promises of free new content such as characters, tracks, and customization items, and even more, then Activision decided to implement them. Bit scummy if you ask me. They work in a similar way to Mortal Kombat, where you buy the in-game currency to purchase items in a daily rotating store. And there are multiple reasons why I don't hate these ones as much as Mortal Kombat's microtransactions. Well, firstly, Wumpa coins aren't that hard to get, even if you only play about 3 or 4 times a week like me, especially with the weekend multiplayer online. But for those who don't pay for online, well, I'm deeply sorry for your suffering. Secondly, because while this is a AAA release, this game isn't sold for as much. Like, my day one box copy was only 49 Australian dollars, and that's really cheap for a huge IP like the Banuka himself. But don't get the wrong idea. Just because I don't hate them, doesn't mean I'm okay with them. If they made something like the Nitrous Oxide Hovercraft, the Platinum skin, or the Digital Entropy skin buyable with real money, would suck, because it defeats the purpose of playing the game and being good at the game. At least it's not that. But increasing the amount for certain bundles to nearly 10,000 Wumpa coins is honestly stupid. Yeah, and the fact that it's Crash Bandicoot nevertheless, a franchise created in 1996 on the PS1 for God's sake. I mean, since it's Activision, you know, you'd expect this kind of stuff from Call of Duty, but Crash Bandicoot, really? I mean, come on guys, it's a remake of a 20-year-old game. Have some class. Let's also talk about Resident Evil 2. The remake. Well, in this case, the costumes to get are microtransactions only. You can't unlock them in the game in any way. It does suck for those who want to change Leon and Claire's costumes, but at least there isn't a paywall instead of putting in effort. But then again, I'm not okay with it. These items should have been obtainable in the game through other means. But for me at least, I don't care for the other costumes. I've got the new costumes and the retro PS1 ones for free already, just to fuel my nostalgia. But the costumes aren't my problem here. In my review, I stated a piece of paid content that came out from day one that I didn't like. The original soundtrack swap. Like, come on. Crash Team Racing and Spyro Reignited Trilogy had this as a free feature since day one. Really, Capcom? 5 Australian bucks just for my nostalgia? Seriously? Yeah, you know what, still worth it. Those were definitely bad examples of how to implement microtransactions, but I do think it isn't terrible in some instances. And it might be weird to say this, but Fortnite? Honestly? I can't complain about that one. Battle Royale is a free mode. Anyone on any system, even mobile, can download it completely free of charge. If there isn't an upfront cost, I think it's pretty fair for the developers and the publishers to implement them to help support the game post-launch. And you know what? It paid off extremely well. Look how big that free game got. You know the owners of Epic Games are swimming in pools of caviar. Their grandchildren's grandchildren will have to get jobs for their whole lives. Though people like to argue that since it's a kid-centered game, it encourages the younger audience to purchase these items and maybe steal their mum's credit card and stuff, and that's why these microtransactions are bad. And well, that is kind of true, but remember here, it's completely up to the parents to monitor this type of stuff, and they have to make sure they don't spend their parents' life savings on Keanu Reeves. Realistically, with all free games, it's hard to criticize microtransactions because there isn't an upfront cost. Unless it's like Clash of Clans, where to not wait like 48 hours, you have to spend money. But that doesn't count. It's clearly a money-making scheme, not a game. But if you spend your money on keys and CSGO, you're not gonna get anything good. Don't even bother. I'd rather play Russian roulette with Bowman.
Communist piece of shit.
Oh shit, never mind.
You fucking son of a bitch.
When microtransactions revolve around in-game currency though, that can sometimes be a mess. There's this certain format that Fortnite and many mobile games use with purchasing in-game currency, but also a game like Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege uses it, and since that's a paid-for game, I'm going to use that as an example. Rainbow Six Siege has a huge variety of customization that can be spent with renown, which you can earn from just playing the game, and R6 credits, which are obtainable through microtransactions only. And there are various customization items which you cannot use renown to purchase, only R6 credits. There are certain things called elite outfits which you can purchase with these R6 credits, and I actually own a few myself. I own Jaegers, Capcans, and IQs. But these aren't just outfits, however, but bundles including weapon skins, gear for your operators, and a unique victory animation. But here's the format, right? I want you to look at the prices for the currency packs, then look at the prices for the elite bundles. Yeah, so you can either buy too much or too little of the currency. There's no in between. This is how they get you and why you can't buy the bundle outright. And this applies for the other items in the game as well. That is pretty shitty considering you could spend 150 Australian bucks on the base game itself with all the DLC. Come on, Ubisoft, settle down. But at the end of the day, microtransactions are most of the time inevitable. It's all about business these days, and while the developers are usually passionate about making a great game, they and even the publishers just want to make as much dosh as they can and milk the shit out of it. How do you milk shit? They're here to stay, whether you like them or not. But if you are heavily against them, not contributing and not spending your money post-launch of a game that you already spent money on, will send a message. And sometimes there's no point arguing with this stuff like EA and FIFA or Activision and Call of Duty. That's not going to change. There will always be microtransactions with those, but it becomes a bigger issue when it comes to an IP like Crash Bandicoot that's over 20 years old. And hopefully with all this outroar from the community, and if enough people refuse to purchase Wumpa coins, maybe Activision will get the message and understand how a game franchise like Crash shouldn't just be a moneymaker. It is understandable. Crash Bandicoot is currently bigger than it's ever been, with over 10 million units sold for the Insane trilogy, and Nitro-Fueled having a more successful launch month than any other game in the series to date. Activision is fully aware of this and is capitalizing off of it, but they should know what this means to the fans of Crash. And honestly, I would not recommend falling prey to Activision because they have enough money as it is. Just give the money to me instead. With it, I can buy Jimmy White's 2 cue ball on the PS1. I appreciate the time you took to watch this video. Leave a like and give it a share if you enjoyed. Please leave a comment about your thoughts on this recent outroar towards microtransactions or your general thoughts on the topic. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe with those notifications turned on to not miss an upload, and I'll talk to you before you know it. See you later!